Well, that was a crazy time, Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Aaron Rodgers stays a Packer, and Russell Wilson goes to Denver, and the Pittsburgh Steelers still don't know their QB1. So who will it be? G'day, Steel Nation. Welcome back to the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate. My name's Mark, and the question I'm asking today, after all this, after all this craziness happening with Aaron Rodgers and the craziness that I woke up to yesterday, with Russell Wilson going to Denver, things are starting to fly around now. You know, there were ideas and articles and reports about Aaron Rodgers coming to the Steelers. Now, I told you my view. I went into the pros and cons, so we won't go too far into that. But I wanted to bring it up just to bring it full circle. So for the understanding now, thankfully, that Rodgers has a team and we can never say his name again. Now, there could have been a chance he came to the Steelers for a higher price, but a lot of fans out there, maybe including yourself, are happy that he didn't come to the Steelers. And there were also links and ideas too. Well, were we going to try and go and get Russell Wilson? He has also been snapped up now by Denver. So that is two free agents or two big players in the NFL that now are not linked to the Steelers, and it just won't happen. So it's been a crazy few days, like 100%. The roller coaster ride has been nuts and bolts. So this episode, I wanted to talk about and just reflect on a few things. And first of all, give a shout out to Mason Rudolph. As much as you like him or don't like him, what he's going through at the moment is, if he's sitting down having a cup of coffee with his beautiful partner and thinking, oh yeah, I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers QB number one. Well, a lot of us keep trying to find answers rather than Mason Rudolph. That's fair enough. We want to bring in Jimmy. We want to bring in Carson Wentz. We want to bring in Bridgewater, Mariota. I will go through a few players today and tell you my thoughts if they will come into the Steelers or what I think of them. It's just a very interesting time because we still don't know who's going to be that QB number one. And as much as, Kevin Colbert and Mike Tomlin and the players, some players are saying, oh, we need to bring in a high price veteran. I think Cameron Hayward said that the other day. Some players like Najee didn't name Mason to be QB number one. So we're in a very funny time where, hang on, who's our QB? And as the draft stock and other players like Kenny Pickett, go higher and higher and higher, and now the Seahawks have the number 9th pick, will they go after Pickett or Malik Willis, and there will be no chance for him to fall at 20? And do the even Steelers move up to chase him and get the QB? Or are they happy enough to stick around with Mason Rudolph? With that being said, though, I wanted to list off a few players and also go into a few more players in a little bit more detail for what I think about the QB, QB free agents, right? So there are also some fans out there and analysts who think that Teddy Bridgewater might come to the Steelers, which that could be a good option. I don't know if he's number one, but that could be an okay option to bring him in and for him to compete with if we sign Haskins and if we get him to compete against Mason. Also talk out there too, bringing a guy like Mariota from the Raiders. He's behind Derek Carr. Does he want another starting job? That would be quite cool to see. Like I said, do we even just, don't bring anybody in at all, bring no one in, and we have the boring, quote unquote, boring, QB competition between Mason, Rudolph, and Haskins, and see what those two fellas can do. At this time, that is my pick. I think it would just be Mason Rudolph and Haskins, and I think we go and we sort out the other team on O-line and defense. I think we're going to roll with those two blokes there, and they will be one of those blokes will go up and end up being QB1. Now, that's the boring side, right? Now, there also is ideas about, Brissett. Even he might come over from Miami. I don't know. And lastly, I wanted to put this out there as a joke. Did you know that Joe Flacco is a free agent this year? What if they went out and signed Joe Flacco? Now, look, I'm only kidding. I'm only joking. He's terrible. He's absolutely terrible. There's no way they would sign Flacco for being a Raven. Now he's a Jet, and I don't even know how he's still in the league. they're not signing that guy. That's only hogwash. It doesn't mean anything. However, I did want to go into a few players. So I wanted to go to start with. There's been a lot of talk also in Steeler Nation about Mitchell. Now I can't pronounce his last name, so please forgive me. I'm trying to read it here off the screen, and it's super hard. So please forgive me. Mitchell Trubisky. That is very hard for me to say with my Australian accent. We just don't say words like that. If he were to come over and he would be a Steeler, if Mitchell Trubisky were to be a Steeler, I would just call him Mitch. Mitch would be that would be the easiest name for me to call Trubisky. His name. I was calling Mitch or Mitchell. So there are ideas that he might come over here. Now, Trubisky, I'm trying my best. Mitchell comes from Chicago. He was drafted in 2017. He played there for about 4 years. He's got a record of 29 wins and 21 losses. And he was also backup to Josh Allen in Buffalo, right? So would you guys be happy? Would you be happy to bring in Mitchell or Mitch or Trubisky? Hey, I'm getting better. I'm getting much better. Would you be happy to bring in that guy to either compete for the number one spot versus Rudolph, right? So I'm not going to say you easily give him the QB number one spot. I still think if you sign him, he has to come in and compete. All right. So what do you think? Do you think you guys would be happy with him for being a Steeler? For me, I'm not too sure. I haven't seen too much body of work of Mitchell. I know he struggled. In the Bears system, but the Bears were a franchise where they always had a really good defense, but he was getting smacked up, 99% of the time. He didn't have a good fit there with Nagy. He couldn't really score any points. He was getting sacked a lot. I didn't really see him, much progression. Sure, he won a few games, but I don't know, maybe a new fresh start for Mitchell to come into the Steelers and working with Matt Canada and Tomlin will give him a better outlook and a better chance and like a refresher. The next QB I want to talk about, who was, one of the guys who was part of the free agents is, the good looking bloke, as they try and say, the good looking bloke, Jimmy G. Now, another bloke, look, man, I can't pronounce a lot of these guys' names. Jimmy Garoppolo. Everyone calls him Jimmy G. Now, there's also been a lot of, links as well. Will Jimmy G come to the Steelers? He's also been linked to going to the Colts. A lot of these QB free agents, like, we don't know where they're going to go. Did anyone think that Russell Wilson was going to go to Denver? And now, like, does Jimmy G come to the Steelers? So, in my opinion, I like the guy. He's okay, but I don't think he's mobile enough for this offense. You thought that Big Ben was bad near the end of his career. Last year in the playoffs, what I saw Jimmy G do near the end was just terrible. You had that game in your hands. Deebo Samuel was playing his lights out. And the last 3 or 4 drives, I think Jimmy G led the team to go 35 yards. And that fumble or that pass he did and the game was over. I just wasn't a big fan. I don't think he's got the arm strength. He may have the talent to read the field. Sure, would it be exciting to bring another QB in? And would he be QB number 1? Probably. Is there a good chance that he can be a Steeler? Probably. But until I see him win games with the Steelers, I'm not overly that excited, to be honest. I don't know what you guys think. I'm just not overly that excited to see Jimmy G in a black and gold uniform. I just kind of can't see it. I don't want to spend a lot of draft capital even on Jimmy G to come in, because that would be 10 times worse, in my opinion, even than A-Rod. I'd rather use the draft capital to get a better O-line, the defense, and just plug in and play Mason Rudolph for the year. And then maybe next year we'll come to the same situation, like who's going to be our QB. So nothing really against Jimmy G. He's got a big arm. He's won a few games. He's been in the league for 9 years. He's done a fair few things. But I just don't see it. I just don't see him being a black and gold Steeler. Now, when I say that, in a few days' time, or when the free agency, starts to pop up, the Steelers could go out and draft him, and I would be more than happy to bring him on, and I would start to learn about what he's been doing in the NFL. Now, Jimmy has been to a Super Bowl when they got defeated by KC, I think it was. They lost 31-20 a few years ago, and he had a deep playoff run last year. But like I said, what I saw on the field near the end, I just didn't think he was a true winner. Prove me wrong, though. Prove me wrong. A young dude in Australia, prove me wrong. Why not? So if the Steelers bring in Jimmy, fair enough. I would be out there to support him. Would you guys support that free agent pickup if we were to go sign Jimmy G and he would be a Steeler? Let me know in the comments below. And the last guy I wanted to talk about with the potential, free agent pickup is Jameis Winston. Now, this guy he's more than likely leaving the Saints. Let's put it that way. He started off in 2015 with Tampa Bay. He's played in the league now for 7 years. He has a QB record or a starting record of 33 and 44 losses, right? So he's pretty he's up and down. He's average. 50-50. He was the QB that went out there and did the 30 for 30, as we all know that. He was the QB that, 1 year he threw 33. In 2019, he threw 33 touchdowns. However, at the same time, he threw 30 interceptions, right? He had a career high year of 5,109 yards in 2019. And then from that moment, he hasn't done too much in New Orleans. In 2021, Jameis Winston started 7 games and had a record of 5-2 and a touchdown versus interception ratio of 14-3. So while he had a sneaky little good year, I just don't know if the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to bring in a guy like Winston. Like, he's very similar to Jimmy. He's more mobile than Jimmy, but he has a big arm. But that year in 2019, I don't know if I trust that. If you go out there and get all the touchdowns, you throw 33 touchdowns. However, at the same time, you're throwing 30 interceptions. So what do you guys think? Do you think that any of these three players will be the Pittsburgh Steelers QB number 1? Trubisky, Jimmy G, or Winston? Now, like I said, if any of these players that do come into the Pittsburgh Steelers, I am open arms. I'm like, let's go. I'm keen to see what we can do. Feed the ball to Najee, play action pass, start to get mobile in the pocket. Let's get this offensive moving and scoring points so our defense can lock down the other side and we can start to win games. That's all I want to happen. I really don't care who comes in to be QB. I want them to be successful and I want them to be a winner. So the question is, do you guys believe in any of these three, or who do you think is going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers QB1, and will they target a free agent, coming up in the next few days? Who do you think is going to be? Because right now, I have no clue. I have zero clue. This Aaron Rodgers stuff, the Denver trade for Wilson has thrown me out of the park. I'm like, what are we meant to believe anymore? I don't know what we're meant to believe. Now, I do hope though, whoever does play, and it could even be lastly, it still could be Mason. We never know. It still could be Mason, QB1. He could lead us to the playoffs. We just don't know at this moment. I don't know. I'm trying to get my thoughts together. I'm trying to understand what will happen at the QB1 position. And I tell you what, it's going to be very interesting to see who comes in. But I think we have bigger problems on the O-line, on the defense, at middle linebacker, at corner, with Joe Hayden. Will we sign Juju? So many different questions to think about and talk about. And we're still stuck on this narrative of who's going to be our quarterback number 1? But it's not the biggest problem. It is not the biggest problem, but it is a fun thing to think about and go, hang on a minute. Who will be QB number 1? Okay, I'm going to put it out there. I still think right now our QB number 1 is Mason Rudolph. If you guys disagree with that, it's fair enough. But who do you think is going to be our QB number 1 come start of the season? All right, guys, thanks for checking out the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate. That was a lot of fun, man. I'm kind of glad we can come back to, full circle. A-Rod, the Green Bay Packer. What's his name? Russell Wilson's in Denver. There's a few names out there that are linked to the Steelers. Who knows who we're going to get? It's going to be a lot of fun. If you guys enjoy the content and me rambling and talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers, then please think about hitting the sub. I think we're near almost 200, and that's crazy. That's so crazy. That's more crazy than A-Rod going out there and saying, hey, I'm going to go to the Titans. I'm going to go to the Steelers. I'm going to go. Oh, wait a minute. No, I might just stay home. I'll just stay home. I'll just sign the biggest NFL contract in history. I'm just going to stay and just going to be a Packer. So we appreciate the support, guys, for following the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate. But yeah, what a time. Man, we're getting so much. We're getting closer to the draft. We're getting closer to the NFL free agent period where things are going to go just bananas, just nuts, just go everywhere. And I can't wait to see that happen. I can't wait to see how this team forms and get the defense back at it, where we can go out there and we're chasing that number 7 Lombardi. That's all we're here for. As a collective group, we're chasing that number 7 Lombardi, and I'm keen to see if it's Mason. I'm keen to see if it's Jimmy G. I'm keen to see if it's Mitch. I don't know who it's going to be, but I can't wait. All right, guys, here we go, Steelers. Here we go.